My name is Dolores. The other day, my phone started buzzing like crazy. When I finally looked at it, I was shocked. My mother had called 47 times, my father 11 times, and my brother Leo had sent 3 texts begging me to call back. It had been 6 months since I last spoke to them, and this sudden flurry of messages took me back to that fateful day. I remember graduation day like it was yesterday. After 4 grueling years of juggling 2 part-time jobs, student loans, and a business administration degree, I was finally graduating. My parents had never given me a single cent during my college years. It was all on me, and I was okay with that. I just wanted them to be there on this important day. The week before, I had texted them all the details, the time, the location, and the parking information. My mother, Mrs. Thompson, replied with a cold "Okay, dear," and my father, Mr. Thompson, sent a thumbs-up emoji. There was no excitement, no "we're so proud of you." But I told myself it was fine. They were reserved people, and what mattered was that they'd show up. On graduation morning, I ironed my gown in my shabby apartment and pinned my cap in the tiny bathroom mirror. I looked at myself and said, "You made it." I had saved 2 seats in the family section, one for Mom and one for Dad. That was all I asked for. When I walked into the auditorium, it was filled with families celebrating their kids. Balloons were everywhere, flowers were in every corner, and cameras were flashing. But when they called my name, Dolores Thompson, and I walked across the stage, I looked out at those 2 empty seats. I forced a smile because I had worked too hard to let this moment be ruined by their absence. I shook the dean's hand, took my diploma, and walked back to my seat, holding myself together. After the ceremony, I pulled out my phone to call them, hoping there was some misunderstanding. That's when I saw the Instagram post from my mother. 40 minutes ago, while I was on stage, she was posting pictures of a fancy restaurant with the caption, "So proud of our son." Leo had gotten a promotion at his marketing job. My hands were shaking as I called her. She picked up on the second ring, and I could hear the noise of the restaurant in the background. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music filled my ears. She answered like it was just another day. "Oh, Dolores." "Hi, dear," she said. I asked her where they were, even though I already knew. She said it so casually, "Honey, we already have a success in the family. We didn't think you'd actually finish." She let out a little laugh, not a cruel one, but like my feelings were an inconvenience. I hung up the phone and sat in my car in the parking lot for what felt like an eternity. I was still in my graduation gown, with my diploma in my lap. In that silence, I made a decision. I was done trying to prove my worth to people who had already made up their minds about me. I didn't cry, I was past that. Something inside me shifted that day, like a door closing and locking forever. I drove home alone, made myself dinner, and started planning. I knew that in 6 months, I'd send them one photo, and everything would change. Those 6 months were the toughest of my life. There were nights when I sat at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. staring at job rejection emails. Doubts would creep in, whispering that maybe my parents were right, that I wasn't good enough. But every time those thoughts came, I remembered that parking lot and the decision I made. I'd close my laptop, go to sleep, and start again the next day. 3 weeks after graduation, I landed an entry-level analyst position at a mid-sized financial consulting firm downtown. It wasn't glamorous. I was making coffee runs, building spreadsheets, and staying 2 hours late every evening to learn things no one asked me to. But I was determined. I studied the senior consultants, asked uncomfortable questions, and volunteered for the projects no one wanted. Slowly, people started to notice me. My manager, and then her manager, took note of my hard work. By the 4th month, I was included in client meetings. By the 5th month, I independently drafted a cost restructuring proposal that saved one of our mid-level clients over $200,000 annually. On a Friday afternoon in the 6th month, the partners called me into a conference room. I thought I had done something wrong. Instead, they slid a folder across the table. Inside was an offer letter for a junior partner track, something that usually took people 3 to 5 years to achieve. I was being offered it in just 6 months. The salary figure on the paper made my eyes blur for a second. I signed it right away. That weekend, I dressed up for myself. I drove downtown to the shiny glass office building where I worked, where my name was already being added to the internal directory under a title I had earned all by myself. I stood in front of the glass doors in my best outfit and asked a stranger to take a photo of me. I sent that photo to my parents in the family group chat that had been silent for 6 months and then put my phone face down on the passenger seat. When I picked up my phone 40 minutes later, I saw all those missed calls and texts. When I finally called my mother back, she was crying. She had Googled the building and the firm. She understood what that photo meant. She kept saying she was sorry and that she didn't know. I listened quietly, just like I had listened to her laugh on graduation day. When she finished, I said the words I had rehearsed for 6 months. I told her that I forgave her because carrying that anger was too heavy for the life I was building. But I also told her that forgiveness didn't mean things would go back to the way they were. Trust isn't something you can just turn on and off. Respect has to be consistent. After that, she went quiet. Now, when I think about that girl in the graduation gown sitting alone in the parking lot with her diploma, I don't feel sorry for her. I feel grateful. The moment my family decided not to be there for me, I was forced to be there for myself. And that was the most powerful thing that ever happened to me. You don't need a cheering section to build something real. You just need to keep going when the seats are empty because those are the days that define you. If this story has touched you, reminded you of your own journey, or made you feel something real, please subscribe to this channel. Every week, we bring you stories of resilience, quiet strength, and people who refuse to let their circumstances write their ending. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join a community of people who choose themselves every day. You found this video for a reason, so don't leave without staying.